Good morning and welcome to our Cobb County Board of Commissioners regular meeting this August 11th, 2026. I'm pleased today that we have Pastor Brian Hammond of New Hope United Methodist Church, and he will be providing our invocation. That will be followed by the pledge, which will be brought by Deputy Lossing of the Sheriff's Office. For those of you both willing and able, I ask that you stand for both our invocation and our pledge.
Would you pray with me? O eternal God, in whose appointment our life stands and who committed our work to us, we commit our cares to you. Father, you created us in your image, so grant us the grace to fearlessly contend against evil, and to make no peace with oppression, and that we may reverently use our freedom and help us to employ it in the maintenance of justice to the glory of your holy name. Give us the wisdom and discernment to seek you and your will, to serve our community and our world. Teach us, O God of every nation, to see every question of policy in the light of our faith, that we would check in ourselves and in others every passion that makes for ungenerous judgment, that we would recognize the needs and aspirations of others, remove our own suspicions and misunderstandings, and honor all people. In Jesus Christ our Lord we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Hammond, for that invocation, and Deputy Lossing for providing our pledge. Our meeting is now called to order. We do have one presentation this morning, which will be brought by our County Manager, Dr. Jackie McMorris.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Chairwoman, Commissioners, it is my pleasure to always take a moment to recognize the outstanding work of our employees, and today I'm excited to recognize two. So as I call your name, would you please come up? Today I would like to present certificates to Joshua Ellsbury and Dallas Kane in honor of receiving the American Public Works Association Georgia Chapter 2026 Young Leader of the Year and Transportation Manager of the Year Award. We'll start with you first. So on behalf of the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, come on up, team. Team and family. We congratulate you for winning the American Public Works Association Georgia Chapter 2026 Young Leader of the Year Award just this past July. You deserve to be lauded for your character, dedication, and commitment to excellence. This award reflects your excellent work ethic, your professionalism, and meaningful contributions to the Cobb County Department of Transportation. So on this, the 11th day of August 2026, we congratulate you. So thank you so much for all you do. Congratulations. Would you like to say anything, Joshua? No. Would you like to say anything, young man? No? Okay. Sure? All righty. So thank you very much. Let's get a photo real quick. We can come on in, Dallas. Everybody comes in. I got his.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Okay. And our second recognition goes to Dallas. We just call you Dallas. You got this one name. Dallas Kane. So on behalf, again, of the Board of Commissioners and the County Manager's Office, we congratulate you for becoming the American Public Works Association of Georgia Chapter 2026 Transportation Manager of the Year. This honor is a tribute to your leadership, dedication, and commitment to delivering a safe and transportation system network. Your professionalism, integrity, and focus on excellence has made a lasting impact to your department. So on behalf of the board and the county manager's office, congratulations to you. So on this day, the 11th of August, we congratulate you. Thank you. You got family or team here?
No, they were attending in Jackal when I received the recognition from the state.
Okay, great, awesome. Thank you, commissioners.
This takes us to the public hearing portion of this meeting. We have 2 DOT public items, and I will turn things over to our DOT Director, Drew Ressler, to walk us through both of these items.
Of course, and before, Josh, I'm sure your family needs to get back to it, but for Josh and for Dallas, it's an honor to work with both of you. For those that don't know, road maintenance is out. We're going to steal the post offices, whether rain or sleet, or because regardless of the weather or regardless of the snow holidays and those beautiful kids are at home, Josh is a servant leader out, making sure that his guys are taken care of so that they can take care of the traveling public. Dallas, same way. We all have incredible assets within the county with these 2 amazing leaders, and we're so glad to have them on the team. So thank you again.
Thank you. That was very thoughtful. Yes, we can give them a
yeah.
another round.
All right, but that is not why I'm standing right here right now. So I will. So thank you again. So before I request the board open up the public hearing for these 2 similar related, but I will recommend we hold separate public hearings for both of these. Just want to provide a little bit of background on first the South Cobb microtransit expansion. This chart demonstrates the change in ridership under the current South Cobb microtransit zone. That zone started in November of 2024. It replaced the flex zone that was operating roughly on average 640 trips per month. It took over, created a more consolidated district, provided curb-to-curb trips with a third-party operator. And since that first month in November of 2024 until this shows May of 2026, the June number has come in, and that is on par with that number of more than 2,400, excuse me, more than 3,000 trips per month that the system is operating now. So since beginning, it is operating now roughly 5-fold of what that first month of trips is, and that's to be expected as the service becomes more known in the area. What this chart shows is what the cost per ride has done over time. So the green line is the unlinked passenger trips. That green line is the same line that you see here. So it just demonstrates what ridership has done over those months, and the blue line shows what the average cost per passenger is. So in November of 2024, with the ridership of just over 800 rides per month, roughly the operator cost is relatively fixed, and so that cost per rider was over $60 per trip. But given the increased ridership that we're seeing lately, that cost per ride has decreased to $27.35. That's the blue line, and then you see there the cost per mile has had that similar trend over time. So what brings us to today is anytime that we as a recipient of FTA funds provide a change in service, that change in service requires an equity analysis to look for different impacts into the system. And I'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the service today is funded 70% through Transit Trust Fund that was awarded through ATL, now GTEA. It is matched with $1 million of local funds, and I should note that those local funds are 80-20, 80% federal funds, and then 20% local Cobb County dollars. So of that 1 million, roughly 200,000 is local funds. The original contract with ATL, now GTEA, was for 2 years. A third-year option it has been approved by GTEA, and that will be coming to the board in a future board agenda item. Now to the service changes that are being contemplated. It is an expansion southeast of the zone, but in southwest Mableton, adding approximately 6 square miles. The key characteristics of the service area you see there: 115,000 population, 17,000 jobs. What this expansion does is currently it really locates along the border of Route 25. This would expand that into Route 30, include a couple additional retail and job centers, as well as the Floyd Road Park and Ride. Then in terms of kind of the requirements of the equity analysis per FTA Title VI, requires an analysis of whether or not there is a disparate impact to minority populations or a disproportionate burden to low-income populations. The analysis determined that there were no disparate impacts or disproportionate burdens on either of those populations. So with that, I would like to recommend the Board of Commissioners conduct a public hearing for completion of the service equity analysis for the proposed expansion of CobbLink microtransit service in South Cobb County.
Thank you, Drew. We will now open up our public hearing, which enables anybody to speak to these matters for a total of 3 minutes, and we'll take an unlimited number of speakers, but again, it's for this matter and this matter only, and that's of the South Cobb micro transit expansion. We'll take our first speaker.
Good morning, Christine Rosman, Marietta, and I would like to just say that this microtransit is that I think it's been clear that Cobb County has been against it.
Excuse me one moment, I'm sorry. Debbie, the clock isn't started. Okay, there we go. Yes, ma'am.
You don't want any more time than you have to with me. So anyway, because I think that we had a vote, and the vote was that Cobb County did not want an MSPLOS, so they did not want a transit tax. And that was over 60% of Cobb County citizens said no to that. So, and then in addition, we have that the Georgia legislation also said that they did not want, they had a moratorium, right, against like any kind of transit on any kind of, or any referendum for until like 2032. So this is kind of like a bypass, it appears, that you're just kind of bypassing Georgia legislation, kind of like you bypassed it with the home rule, and just bypass it so you do what you want to do. And I say you because there is a majority of Democrats, 3 Democrats, that seem to always vote in sync with the Atlanta Regional Commission. And if you looked at what Atlanta Regional Commission did on Saturday, they're saying, oop, there you go, right up from Cobb County, from Cumberland up to Kennesaw. So it's really in sync. So you're very transparent that you're following what the ARC. Now, fortunately, we have 2 commissioners that listen to their constituents and vote accordingly and represent us. Thank you, thank you. And but we get kind of hijacked, the rest of the county gets hijacked because we don't have a voice, and it makes it very difficult for us to be represented. But empty buses, oops, sorry, plus microtransit equals abusing Cobb taxpayers again. And it's going to, and I know that there was a nice thing that you did earlier with acknowledging the people that work for the transit department, and then open this up. But really, it's not what we want. Every time I see a bus going by, when I'm out, they're empty, okay? This is just a little more scope creep of what you're trying to do with transportation and not listening to citizens. Thank you.
We'll take our next speaker.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Matt Segal. I live in District 1. I do serve on the Transit Advisory Board, and I'm here speaking on behalf of my own personal opinions and on a personal capacity. I first off want to thank each of you for allowing this public hearing. I do want to commend that. I do believe this is one of the most open, transparent public hearings of any other jurisdiction whenever we do something like this. Unlimited, public speakers and all of that. I think it's pretty unique in the fact that we're live streaming, and people are able to watch this transparency. I think it's definitely contrary to some other local bodies of government around here, so I do appreciate that. This public hearing is really supposed to be specifically about equity analysis, and with that equity analysis, there's 3 questions being asked. One of them is there a disparate impact on minority populations? The summary findings of that is, of course, that there is not. This is a transit expansion. The next question is, does it result in a disproportionate burden on low-income populations? And again, the answer is it does not. It actually is, again, a positive impact on the population that it serves. And then lastly, it results in an increase in service for all populations. And I always think it's very unique that transit is looked at in a very different way than any other public service. The cost per passenger, the cost per user, the cost per people benefiting from this service. And we always, even this equity analysis, we look at it as just like a service for low-income users. And really, transit is most successful when it's a service that everyone can benefit from. And this microtransit, even though it's not my favorite mode of transit, but I won't go down that path, it is a service that everyone can use. And when it comes to South Cobb, the #1 most popular destination in that with that microtransit zone is the Walmart. And so I think that's a significant, data point in the fact that whether it's workers, people trying to get groceries, people just, trying to buy the goods and necessities that they need, the #1 destination is the Walmart and East-West Connector. And I think that by expanding this, we give people more access, more connections, and the ability also to connect with more fixed route services that they're able to take throughout the region, whether it's to their job, their healthcare appointment, their friends, their church, whatever it may be. It's an overall benefit, and I appreciate that you guys are looking at it. This is very different than over $3 billion splost that the entire county would have to have an increased sales tax for. This is a very specific service expansion that we received grant money for, and to me, it's a no-brainer that we should enable this service expansion and provide greater service for people in South Cobb. Thank you.
We'll take our next speaker.
Good morning. My name is Charlene Williams, and I apologize that I am coming here to your front door with a backdoor situation. However, had your backdoor situation treated me like a front door person, as I should have been, this would not be going on, requiring this situation.
Ma'am, are you here for speaking in public comment or the public hearing with respect to transit?
I'm here to make a public comment.
Okay, public comment's going to follow the public hearings with respect to transit.
Okay, thank you.
Did you sign in the sheet over there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll call your name up with respect to that.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Hang tight. We'll take our next speaker for the public hearing, And the public hearing, again, is with respect to the South Cobb microtransit expansion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name's Lance Lamberton, and I don't think it's any secret where I stand on microtransit expansion. And I know there's a foregone conclusion how you're all going to vote on it, but on behalf of the overwhelming majority of our citizens who have opposed even the establishment of microtransit in the first place, let me briefly outline my major points of contention. When it comes to transportation in the county, this governing body should not be taxing its citizens an outrageous amount of money per ride for the convenience of a very small percentage of people who will ever use it. Well, Madam Chairman, I can empathize, with you telling us that getting your son to work or school without microtransit can sometimes be inconvenient. That is not, with all due respect, the taxpayer's responsibility, or at least it should not be. There are lots of other ways to get around the county, and that should be your responsibility, not ours. Number two, the fact that the program is not means tested should give all of us pause. It invites people who can easily afford unsubsidized transportation to feed at the public trough. Economists call this moral hazard. And thirdly, we already have a voucher program which is designed to provide transportation to those without affordable alternatives. Although I know from personal experience and anecdotal information that it is very poorly administered. I know elderly handicapped people who have booked rides, waited outside for pickup, which never arrived, and where no notice of a no-show was given. For a small fraction of the cost of microtransit, you could dedicate yourselves to making the voucher program viable and well-run. You should not tolerate anything less. If you're going to offer a service, then dadgummit, offer us a good one. We pay enough in taxes to demand nothing less. And that's all I've got for today. I didn't want to go over my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll take our next speaker.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gary Henderson, and I live in District 3. And I'd like to say a few things about the proposed extension and expansion of macrotransit that would apply to both this hearing and the next one. Less than 2 years ago, the voters soundly rejected the extension and expansion of all transit. Therefore, this proposed extension and expansion of microtransit seems to me to ignore the will of the voters. The cost per ride averaging $27 each is not sustainable. The current proposal has taxpayers paying a small portion of this cost. But what happens in a few years when the state subsidies and the federal subsidies disappear? Will the taxpayers be asked to pay the full $8.25 million a year that this service is costing? Or will they just give it up? I don't think we'll give it up. I assume that the Board of Commissioners will approve this extension and expansion of microtransit anyway. However, since this would appear to be a one-year extension and program, you need to increase the cost to $5 to determine elasticity of demand. This will help us determine if we have a want or a need where microtransit is concerned. If you raise the price and demand stays high, then maybe you have a service need. However, if you raise the price commensurate with the additional utility this service provides and demand goes down, then you have a situation where many users were just taking advantage of cheap $2.50 rides. Finally, even at $5, the rider is still only paying less than 20% of the average $27 cost. Microtransit users should be willing to pay more for the extra value that door-to-door service provides versus bus service. If not, then I say again, this tells us they really don't need this service. It's just another nice thing to have when others are paying the majority of the cost for them. This would also indicate that microtransit is not an essential service. thank you for your consideration of my comments.
Thank you. We'll take our next speaker. Are there any other speakers? All right, we'll go ahead and close this hearing.
Thank you.
Commissioners,
Similar
I
to.
just want to let the commissioners know.
I'm sorry.
Defer to them for any questions after the
course.
second
Thank you.
hearing. After the second hearing. Yes. You can go ahead. If we can wait till after the second hearing, then we can have all the comments together. Okay. Thank you.
So similar to the South Cobb microtransit area,
Bless you.
the Ackworth-Kennesaw microtransit zone is proposed to be funded in part through, excuse me, the same transit trust fund, as well as a local match. These funds are for a 2-year pilot. We anticipate the ability to extend for an optional 3rd year at the discretion of the GTEA. Similar to the South Cobb microtransit zone, FTA requires a Title VI equity analysis for any new transit service offerings within by Cobb County. Therefore, this process has been ongoing. You'll note the public comment, the in-person and virtual public meetings, as well as postings through various media. The proposed area where the South Cobb microtransit zone was extending as a last mile connectivity to the southwestern portion of the service area of Cobb Link. This is an extension into the northern termini of the current Cobb Link service area. And in doing so provides last mile trips to and from transit as well as curb to curb within that area. In terms of the reasons for the proposed service changes, a lot of it comes back to the planning that was done in the Comprehensive Transportation Plan, as well as market conditions and the ability to test the service offerings within the boundary of Kennesaw State University. In terms of the Title VI findings, again, the disparate impact is looking at minority populations. The disproportionate burden is looking at low-income populations. It was found that there was no disproportionate burden to low-income populations. Regarding disparate impacts, a minor disparate impact was identified. A little bit of background on that. So the equity analysis as required by FTA and Title VI looks at what the minority population is of the county, as well as of the overall service area served today by Cobb Link. This particular zone, Ackworth-Kennesaw, is in the 40% minority, whereas countywide we are just over 50%, and then the Cobb Link service area is just over 60%. So given those differences in percentages, a minor impact was identified, and then the mitigation strategies to such minor impact was targeted outreach to make sure that the service is well known, which is in keeping with the South Cobb microtransit zone, where it was important to make sure that the public was aware of this service offering, both as a curb-to-curb trip and as a last-mile trip. So with that, I would like to recommend the Board of Commissioners conduct a public hearing for completion of the service equity analysis for the proposed Cobb Link Ackworth-Kennesaw microtransit pilot project.
Thank you, Drew. Similar to the last hearing, I'll open this up to an unlimited number of speakers. You'll have 3 minutes to address the Ackworth-Kennesaw microtransit zone, to address this zone and this matter only. Thank you, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with our process, please help state your name prior to your comments. You may begin whenever you're ready.
Very well. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks, y'all, for having this hearing. Greg Crisp. I live in Kennesaw, Georgia. I think public transit is a useful thing for many of us, and it's a public service. Yes, it's going to cost something, but that's the whole point. And if we're going to talk about empathy, I think we should have empathy for those who maybe don't have their own means of transportation and need help getting around. I'll use an example. My 84-year-old mother, she is presently able to transport and get around on her own, but probably in a very soon amount of time she will not be able to. And this is the kind of service that she would find very useful. she was never going to take a bus. She grew up in rural South Georgia. It's just not going to happen. But ride sharing is something she would be very amenable to. I know a lot of other people who'd be as well. I'll keep it short and simple. I think we should do this. I think it's in support, and it's a good thing. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next speaker. Are there any additional speakers?
Christine Rosman, Marietta. One of the things too is that it's like, oh, but these are federal tax dollars. We're still paying it, right? We're still paying it. Even if it's like, oh, it's 80%. Well, we're supplying the money in the bucket. It's our money in the bucket, whether it's from this Cobb County taxes or if it's federal taxes, we're still paying for it. You know, we see a lot of abuse of systems, and it's a nice of like being able to provide a transportation. And does it make sense, though, that it can end up getting abused? I know that there are times when I go to the store and I see somebody, dressed better than me. Not that I dress great, but I mean, definitely better than me, that that they're using SNAP and stuff. And it's like, there's a lot of abuse when you are saying, here, we have everything for you. It ends up being abused. So, I mean, even if you would do this, what precautions are you doing to make sure it doesn't get abused? And again, is that 60% of the voters, over 60% of us said no transit tax. Our Georgia state legislators are saying, hey, let's rein it in. Nothing, doing the whatever for not putting this on on any votes or doing any transit, and yet we're doing it. Not we. You all are doing it. ARC is it ARC? I mean, we can only make the assumption because if you look at pattern recognition, everything that the ARC wants to do, you guys come up and say, oh, I think this is what we're going to do. And it's pretty obvious that this isn't organic to what Cobb County citizens want. It's what the ARC wants. And we're kind of tiring of it because we chose Cobb County to live here for a suburban lifestyle, not an urban experiment. Thank you.
Hello, Matt Segal, District 1. I serve on the Transit Advisory Board here on behalf of my own personal opinions. I'm really excited about this microtransit. And I'm going to talk about me. Like, I'm not going to say we or the citizens of Cobb or speak for others who aren't even able to be here. Also don't have clever signs, my apologies. Yeah, and I'm really excited about this new microtransit zone because I've spoken to many KSU students who aren't able to be here. 9 a.m.s are very tough for them. Also spoken to many other people who live in the area. And yeah, I think we're all really excited. There's downtown Kennesaw, downtown Ackworth, you got KSU, you've got Town Center. All of these areas now have access to whether it's jobs, whether it's they're going to school. KSU student now doesn't have the burden of costly transportation, car payments, gas, things like that. They can go car free if they live and go to school in the zone, or if you live and work in the zone. This helps the affordability crisis because it's not just housing affordability, it's also transportation affordability. We've got gas prices going up. The data is showing that the ability to buy a cheap car is just non-existent anymore. And so you've got the entire generations of students that are looking and figuring out how they can have a future in Cobb County, and their bills are kind of going in, increase, and they're, and I do think I need to point out their cost of parking at KSU is more than many people's property taxes are once they get their homestead exemption and their school exemption as well. And so I think that looking at those generations and who we want to see here in Cobb County in the future, this is a great service, and it's a great service across all types of populations, whether it's service workers who want to be able to get to and from their job, whether it's senior citizens who might not be as mobile. Providing safe, reliable mobility for people is something that the government should be responsible for and should be able to provide options. And we all shouldn't be burdened with, my personal tax just to be able to drive is over $600 a month. And to be able to sit there and have an option of spending much less and having an option of being able to get to local places without needing a car, and just having that option, I think is a service that, we all, I personally want. And I know many others do. And it would be something that we already see the successful, usage rates in South Cobb, and I see it being even more successful here in the Ackworth-Kennesaw microtransit zone. So I look forward to seeing more conversation on it, seeing the pilot happen, and seeing how successful it is in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take our next speaker. Are there any additional speakers with respect to the Ackworth-Kennesaw microtransit zone? Okay, not seeing any, we'll close the hearing. Did you have any closing remarks before I open it up for the commissioners?
Just to say, future agenda items will be forthcoming for the board to consider the authorization of the service, the agreement with now GTEA, as well as a vendor contract with the vendor that would be providing the service.
Okay. Thank you. And Commissioner Sheffield, I know you had comments.
Thank you, Chair. Drew, first of all, thank you to you, Morgan, and your team for the various open houses you've had with respect to this project. This is a step in the right direction. I am very supportive of the analysis and moving forward. But what's troubling to me, we hear comments, generally in our Board of Commissioner comments, that Cobb County is too expensive. It's an expensive place to live. Housing is too expensive, and we have a laundry list from the public. But when we make decisions to try and alleviate some expenses, like the cost of a vehicle, insurance, gas, and things of that nature, then now all of a sudden we are falling in line with what ARC wants. I would argue that we're responding to the comments that we hear in public comment with respect to Cobb being too expensive. There seems to be this theme that transit and transportation is for the poor, because if you were not poor, naturally you would have a vehicle. But people should be reminded that transportation is a mode of convenience. This is a mode of convenience. We hear about congestion on the roads. The roads are not wide enough, things of that nature. But we are making a deliberate effort to change those things. We often hear we're not listening to the voices of those that do not want it. But on the other side of that coin, there are voices of those who need it. In South Cobb particularly, there is an area, and I hope at one point we will expand even further to connect along the warehouse jobs, to connect that last mile, which you and I have been talking about, when I got elected, and I'm sure Commissioner Cupid has as well, connecting people to employment opportunities, to education that changes their quality of life. It offers different opportunities that a simple bus ride can offer to them. It is not a free ride, as some may think. There's even suggestion that this is nothing more than another government benefit. I heard SNAP come up, which is very offensive, and people will be mightily surprised at who actually receives SNAP benefits. It's not all in one community as they so think. Transit is a service, much like parks, much like our senior services. There was a comment that, well, not everybody will use transportation. Well, not everybody uses the senior services. Not everyone utilizes parks. We have close to 800,000 citizens in this county. Everybody's not going to utilize all of the same services. But that does not mean that we turn a deaf ear and a blind eye to those who need those services. So I'll end it right there. I want to thank you again. What I will add, for South Cobb, and I believe Matt already shared that the #1 destination is Walmart on the East-West Connector. And our seniors travel there. I heard a gentleman share that his mom may even take advantage. And I can tell you, as being a caregiver, how important it is for seniors to be able to hold on to their independence. And this offers that. They can safely ride to Walmart and pick up their prescription, or just go shopping, or not be at home feeling as though they're in isolation. This all feeds into a person's quality of life. I can't do anything to change anybody's mind about it, nor will I try. But I will move forward and make decisions based on the greater community. And I'll just leave it right there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheffield. Are there any other comments? Commissioner Gambrill.
Drew, what is the current fee for the microtransit ride?
It's $2.50.
Is that one way or both ways?
One way.
And that $2.50 one way, that then, like if you take microtransit to then get on a bus, that $2.50 then is applied to the bus fare as well?
Yes, ma'am. It's a free transfer to the fixed route.
Okay. So when this study was done on the disparate and the disproportionate burden, it was based on all incomes, right? Every single individual that has access only paying $2.50. Correct?
It's looking more, less about the fare itself and more about the service boundary of the new service offering.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. So if we're collecting $2.50, we know that the expenses, we've got, is it $4 million essentially for South Cobb and now $4 million for the proposed Ackworth-Kennesaw area? Roughly?
Yeah, if you add all the grants, it
roughly.
depends on how you can, yeah.
Yeah. So my question is if we know the South Cobb rides are currently costing, now it's averaging down to $27, but it was much higher before. What happens if those funds run out before the term of the contract expires?
That's something we've been keeping a close eye on. We're actually flip-flopped. We're running, our service is costing less than what our grant funds are, and we're keeping a close eye on that. The reason this is, for at least the South Cobb, is set at 6 square miles is because that's the increase that our calculations show can be sustained over the life of the remaining grants. So based on everything that we, excuse me, that we've seen so far, that we're tracking well within the grant requirements.
So we know the program is becoming more successful in South Cobb, and as Matt said, the area up in Ackworth-Kennesaw more than likely will be utilized quicker because of some things that, again, we have no control over what KSU does with parking fees and such. What would possibly happen, again, if the funds run out before the term of the agreement does? What burden is there on the county from that standpoint?
Sure. So given that it is a 2-year agreement with a 3rd-year option, we'd be able to see our burn rate pretty quickly and be able to come back to the board and make adjustments either to the 2 levers that are available to pull is to pull back on service or to increase on cost. But based on what we've seen with the South Cobb, we fully anticipate, and with the vendor bids that we've seen, we fully anticipate being able to cover the cost of both programs within the funds that are dedicated towards them, or proposed to be dedicated towards them.
And as far as if we have to go to an agenda item to allocate more funds, those funds would then have to come from the county as the grant would be expired, correct?
That would be one source. Our formula grants are another potential source of funds. So the local match that's talked about is in portion federal formula grants from FTA. So those can be flexed into the service. So we would work with the board and finance to look through our different options should that happen.
Okay, and just to pick on Buddy, I won't say my favorite word then. Thank you.
May I ask a follow-up to that? May I ask a follow-up? Drew, would there be a 3rd option to increase the fare? Are there any restrictions against doing that?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we've looked at, and the challenging factor on setting the fare is the free transfer. So your bus fare costs $2.50. So then if you transfer to a service that is now more expensive, so to say a $4 would be on par with paratransit, then how do we collect a different fare based on, so it would be potentially $1.50 if you go from fixed route to microtransit. If you go from microtransit to fixed route, there's no offset. So it's figuring out some of those details of the service offering. So that's one of the things that we have talked about, because it is a premium service offering that we think it does make sense. So that part of the purpose of the pilot is to look through things, not just of the service area, service operating hours, but also questions about the fare. So that's still on the table and something that we are glad to look at.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Allen, then Commissioner Burrow, I saw your hand.
I'll be brief, but I want to thank Commissioner Sheffield for her words, because I had several of the same sentiments, but was not going to be as eloquent in saying them, so I'll skip over some of those, because, and the reason I say that, I'm a little disheartened by the discourse when we talk about things like this. I've often said that disagreement does not require hatred or animosity or some hidden agenda. It's just a disagreement. And there are people that we hear from that can't be at this meeting. I can tell you I've had conversations with far more people than showed up here today to talk against this, that look at this as a critical lifeline for them just to get by. I know you use the word convenience, but for some people it's a necessity. It's the difference between being able to go and get groceries, or go visit a loved one, or go visit their child's school. It makes a difference. And as I said during the budget hearing, this is the definition of privilege, and I'm not going to back down from that. Privilege is thinking that something is not a problem just because it's not your problem. That's the definition. That's what it is. And for those that are able to drive and come to a 9 a.m. meeting, have a privilege. I have a privilege because I have a car to get around. But I don't want to stand on that perch of privilege. I don't want to live in that privilege. There are people who need certain services. There are hundreds of services that we offer in Cobb County. None of us consume every single one of them. So I would challenge you to come to the podium and talk about something that's dear to you and ask me to cut it. It won't happen because you appreciate those services. And as far as listening, this is also standing on that perch. Listening does not mean we do what you say. Listening means that we honor and respect you being part of the process. And I've always said, I love that we are not the school board and we give people that platform to come in and give their public comment. And we broadcast it for everyone to hear. But sometimes you have to just understand that your opinion just might be the minority opinion. I don't think that really falls on some people. They think that because I say it, you're supposed to do what I say. But there are other people that we're also listening to that may just have an underappreciated voice in some of these discussions. And they can't be here today to advocate for themselves. And so I am truly disheartened by the way we've had this conversation, as Commissioner Sheffield said, to be this is a solution for the poor. We use the hyperbolic, statements. This is not a new tax. No one's bringing back a referendum, and you know that. It's very disingenuous to say those things, and just because there is a disagreement of opinion, to be hyperbolic. So I hope, not just with this, because I do support both of these zones. I think we have the mechanisms in place to make sure it doesn't have cost overruns. I feel comfortable with what the director has said about being able to do that. And I also know that this is truly going to help the least of us. And that's why we're here. Not to exacerbate our privilege, but to support everybody in Cobb County. So Drew and your team, thank you for bringing this forward. We'll continue to watch, make sure that this is done responsibly, but also make sure that we are serving every resident of Cobb County with the plethora and array of services that we offer that make Cobb great.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Braun.
Thank you, Drew.
Sure.
I have a couple of questions first. The pilot program for the South Cobb microtransit has been ongoing for 2 years?
Since November of 2024.
24, okay.
Yes.
So almost 2 years.
Almost.
So this expansion will take it into one more year? Or is that the Kennesaw Ackworth one?
Of course, thank you. Two clarifications. One is it's an addition of 6 square miles to the roughly, I think it's 25 square miles is the existing service area. But then also we will be asking the board to authorize a 3rd year of service with grant funding from the Transit Trust Fund.
For the expansion incorporated into the
For both-
program that currently exists?
I'm sorry, yes, for both the expansion and the existing zone. So it would be one zone that would come back to the board for, based on an agreement with GTEA for a 3rd year of service.
Okay. And then the Kennesaw Ackworth is brand new.
Correct.
We don't have, is that a pilot as well for 1 year?
It is a 2-year with an option for a 3rd.
Pardon?
It's a 2-year pilot with an option for a 3rd.
A 3rd year renewed, okay. Okay. With all due respect to my fellow colleagues, we are privileged and fortunate in this country to have First Amendment rights. We can speak to whatever we want to. I agree, we can agree to disagree and move forward, but I'm not going to lecture either side to come here and voice their concerns. So I appreciate the participation on both sides and comments from the public. Thank you.
Okay.
Just for a point of clarification, I have not communicated that a person should not express their thoughts and opinions. I simply wanted to address their thoughts and opinions through my First Amendment right.
Okay. Thank you all for weighing in, and thank you for the members of the public who have weighed in, not only in this meeting, but beyond this meeting. I do echo the sentiments that Commissioner Allen shared, is that we take into perspective those who are here. We also take into perspective those who are not, which is why I always value commissioners being out in the community, meeting their constituents and understanding what the true needs are of the county on the ground. And I believe that gives us a broad perspective about where we are and where our opportunities are as a county. Data is also helpful in understanding those needs, and appreciate the data analysis to help us understand the opportunities and impact of our services here in the county. Just wanted to go through our mission, and it was my goal when we set our strategic plan was to have our mission and vision statement before us every day, and I need to get back because those boards are sitting in my office. Our mission is to make Cobb County the best place to live and work through an efficient, effective, and responsive government that delivers quality services. The way we deliver quality services is through efficient, effective, and responsive government, which can sometimes seem to be competing ways or philosophies of how we do our work. And I think that has underscored the spirit of this debate that is here today. When I look at the vision of Cobb County, it is for us to be a thriving, innovative, safe community that enhances quality of life for the well-being of all. And when I looked at that last statement, I think that's where courage I perceive is needed on our board, and not even courage. I think the word was used, maybe Commissioner Sheffield shared, empathy, being mindful of others who are here in the county. And I think it's a mistake to believe that if something doesn't directly serve all, and if it only serves some, that it's not of benefit to all. When we had a study done on our transit system, when we were first putting in Flex, it was found that 80% of our riders take it to work and to school. And we pride ourselves in being an educated county. We pride ourselves on being a business-friendly county. Getting people to school and to work helps us to stand on the character that we take a lot of pride in for our county. And I certainly believe that this new transit zone will do that in looking at the number of jobs that it touches in the Ackworth and Kennesaw area. And there's also opportunity, even though we look at more of the service need in the South Cobb area, to still get people to work and to school. And as Commissioner Sheffield shared, to opportunity, get some people out of isolation and to independence in our community. And that supports the well-being of all. And that's certainly something that I can get behind with these transit zones. There was a comment made that 60% of residents did not support the transit tax, and I do agree with that 100%. But just because you don't support a transit tax doesn't mean you don't support transit. It simply means you did not support the tax at that time. We know that there are many people who do support transit, and we know that there are many people who support access to opportunity, and this is what we're supporting. Lastly, I've said this multiple times up here, and I'll say it again. I have driven down many a street in Cobb County that have been empty, and I've never heard anybody say what a waste of asphalt because no car was on the street. I've never heard it. But we look at a bus that somebody's on it, not at an immediate time, and we say, what a waste of a service. We have a lot of things that we fund because it provides access to opportunity. If there is no road in front of your home or to your destination, it would make it very difficult to get there. A lot of what we do as a county is to provide service, which is access to opportunity. And whether somebody needs it or wants it, to me, having options that add to the vibrancy and the quality of life for our community is certainly something I could get behind. And somebody used the word moral hazard. Somebody who studies the English language, I find it just very interesting how we pick and choose where moral hazard sits and where it does not sit. And I look at what people, not only what people say and what they don't say is also important to me. And when I hear critique of this matter and not critique of other matters here in the county where funding could be questionable, I also look at what's not said in those moments, not just what's said in a moment because somebody doesn't like something. So, I'm supportive of this, and I appreciate the board members for being supportive of it. I appreciate the people coming here who speak time and time again on matters that they feel different of the board in, because it does help us provide balance in the way that we view things, and also helps us to better understand the perspective of other citizens in the county. But as Commissioner Sheffield shared, we appreciate the right for people to speak, and we hear, we listen, we watch, and we see the banter and the behavior. And I just wonder how you think that's persuasive. So with that, I will ask for a motion for, oh, there's no motion. Sorry about that. This is just a hearing. Sorry, this is just public comment. Thank you. Gotten so far off. Yes, Commissioner.
So at our night meeting on the 25th, we'll have these same public hearings for both of these, or?
No, we'll
We
bring
don't.
forward those agenda items for authorization to proceed with service, the grant agreements with GTEA, as well as the contract with the provider. The contract with the provider is probably going to push into September, so in 2 weeks, it'll be the authorization to proceed with service.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought there were two public hearings. So my mistake. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Commissioners, I'm sorry, I need to take a 5-minute break. So I'm going to ask that we break for 5 minutes, we'll come back, and we will have our public comment. There was a lady who came here. I don't see her anymore. Oh, yes. Okay. At that time, you'll be called up for your comments. Thank you. Commissioner? Yes, thank you. We are at 5 minutes, and I would like for us to reconvene our meeting. We'll wait for Commissioner Burrow. Thank you. We are now at the public comment portion of our meeting, and I will turn things over to our county attorney to help with this portion of our meeting.
Good morning. As the board provides the podium for public comment, it's appropriate to review the related meeting rules. Please state your name and if you are speaking on behalf of an organization. All comments should be made to the commission as a body and addressed through the chair. Public comment is not a dialogue with the board, but an opportunity for speakers to provide their comments to the board. Comments should not be slanderous. The board encourages, regardless of the topic, for the audience to be respectful and courteous to all speakers. Everyone attending this meeting should give others the right to both listen and be heard by treating each other with civility. Statements made during the public comments portion do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the board or the administration of Cobb County government. And a timer is on the podium for you to track your 3 minutes. The first speaker is Mr. Gary Henderson. Oh, okay. The next speaker is Greg Crisp. The next speaker is Charlene Williams.
Okay. My name is Charlene Williams, and I'm here on behalf of humanity. I sit and I listen. I want to make this brief to the things that you're used to discussing, rich, poor, or white and black. And the truth is, right now, we are in a situation that it is really good and evil. Being a targeted individual of gang stalking, it has come to my awareness that there is something down there in the underworld that we don't have a First Amendment to speak about, that they're not allowed to talk. That is a chamber where people are being took and tortured and being forced to participate in these, whether they want to or not, to where even the good police officers are no longer even allowed to be good police officers anymore. Now, wherever this chamber is happening at and whatever is being done down there, it is my request to the board that we begin to make some new laws for them authorizing their place of whatever it is to be allowed to be used. They need to have conversations at that table now to where we can maybe readjust some things because they are being poorly managed. Originally, decades ago, they were probably supposed to be used to manage corruption, not be used to make people who didn't want to do the right thing do something for them. I'm an innocent woman, and when the people down there who were ordered to put me into human trafficking said we want to do the right thing and not do this to this one, they weren't allowed. When I asked for police help, they weren't allowed. And why are they not allowed? What is at the root of all of that? That is being kept so quiet. And why is it has been used about on us for so long that we're not even allowed to be righteous when we want to? Now, I brought to you today an example of what I am going through again on the first one. I've got 1 minute left. An attorney who is a public defender, who is definitely on the back street with mob ties. Her and I communication right here. When you read it for yourself, you will be so heartbroken because it shows you how that corruption has spilled over to the innocence of this world, and that she told me she had to file a motion to protect herself, not for what was in the best interest of me. Because what we know is all of this is being hidden under mental health. When you read this today that I leave with you, I urge you to please find out where these torture chambers are happening, how they're being tortured, because they're not allowed to talk about it. And why are the police not allowed to do their job? And why did a whole community come that were righteous and said, we don't want to do this to her. We don't want to put her in human trafficking. Why are they not allowed still this many years later to not do it to me? What is at the root? It is good and evil. I promise you it's not white and black anymore. I promise you it's not rich and poor anymore. And we really need some help out here. Thank you.
Before we go to our next speaker, I will just say from my heart to yours that I'm so sorry about any human trafficking that you've experienced. I can only imagine, and this is the second time that you've been here. I will have my chief assistant, Sana Mazim, speak with you when you get off the podium here. It takes a lot of courage to speak after something like that.
It's not even about the courage to do it. We're not allowed, because if you knew what was really going on, your
Yes,
hearts
ma'am.
would change like that.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. But
Thank
again,
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
And here is what needs, a good look.
Thank you.
And whoever's family she belongs to, could you ask her to?
Yes,
ask
ma'am.
them to stop?
We're bleeding into,
Thank you,
yes,
love.
thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If people were allowed to talk.
Sorry, she's gonna, yes, please speak with Mrs. Zine, thank you. Okay. We also, yes, thank you. Also, our police chief, also if you may speak with her also as well with Sana, thank you. Okay.
The next speaker is Matt Stegall.
Good morning. My name is Matt Stegall. I live in District 1. I'm here to talk about two things. One is transparency, and the other is the data center moratorium. I'll start with the data center moratorium. Thank you for, I see that it's on the consent agenda for today as far as the extension of the moratorium. Whether we're for or against data centers, I do think that our city and county codes are far behind as far as the rules and regulations to ensure that they mitigate the impacts of local residents and the nearby neighbors. I don't know. I know we've got another 6-month moratorium, and from what I've heard, that we're tying in the new regulations to the UDC code. I don't know if the UDC code will be completed by February, but I do think that we do need some type of citizen task force or something as far as trying to figure out what the right codes are and determining, I almost wish that the data center new regulations were separated from the UDC, because the UDC is so complicated and it has taken a long time and everything, that I think having that data center conversation and adding that to the code would be beneficial, and having those important conversations for the future of the county. Second to that, as I mentioned, transparency and all of that. I do serve on the Transit Advisory Board, and I do consider that a great honor. And we do meet almost monthly as far as reviewing budgets and service, and I think the staff and DOT department and everyone for preparing that. And we have a lot of really good conversations as far as oversight and advisory and all of those, responsibilities for public transit. And, and we had a public hearing just for, an expansion of a service and all of that, and all this public process anytime a decision in public transit is made. And then I look and see some recent decisions regarding flock cameras and surveillance and data privacy and things like that I didn't see as much citizen input or involvement as some of those contracts were signed and some of those decisions were made. And I do think that we can have a little bit more just citizens oversight and transparency when it comes to our public safety, and when it comes to everyone's doing a great job and everything like that. But there is, I think, a little bit of, I wouldn't say distrust, but just a little bit of concern when it comes to the public realm and stuff like that. We don't know what's happening to our data, how we're being tracked, where cameras, what technology is being used. Drones were being requested and were flown over a recent city council meeting in Marietta, right? And so all these things are happening, and it just makes us wonder, it makes me wonder, just when can a citizen stand up and say, okay, hold on, we didn't really have the right conversations we needed to make sure this was implemented in the right way. And so I think we do need to take a step back and figure out how we can hear citizens' voice when it comes to those decisions. That way we make sure everyone is protected and the right decisions are made. Thank you very much.
The next speaker is Christine Rosman.
Christine Rosman, Marietta. You know, it's kind of funny when somebody's saying, oh, and it's free transportation, and it's free this, and it's free that. And it's like, no, it isn't. It's paid for with our tax dollars. It's paid for when you choose to not, okay, I went on a splurge. I went to Kohl's. I haven't shopped in years. And I bought myself like 10 dresses. They were like $15 a piece, okay? Some people don't have to have everything. Like, I do without so that I can have money for over here. But I'm also taxed. I don't even know what I'm trying to say other than it's a little stigma if you use your First Amendment right to say, I don't want this, or I have an opinion about something. And then it's like, oh, well, how selfish of you to not want to give to everybody. How do you think New York City's doing now with Ma'am Danny? He's given away the house, and people are like, whoa, wait, no, I don't think I like this anymore. And everything's free, and then what is it? Is the next thing for us? Is it gonna be free groceries? Because people, believe me, I feel for these people when I go to the grocery store and I have 2 bags and it's like $60. I can't imagine what it is for a single parent or even a full family to be with what the cost of living is now. But I also know that one of the reasons why our cost of living is so high is because we're taxed so much. Okay? Those taxes, by the way, that's like running away, that's like getting La Madeleine's out. It's getting a lot of businesses that are like, screw it, I don't want to be in Cobb County. I can't even make a living in Cobb County because the taxes are so high. So, you know, back in the day, we used to have to like pay for long distance phone calls. And like this is like what I feel like now is that everybody's like call and collect. Hey, I want this, so I'm calling collect. You pay for my call. And it's like, hey, you taxpayer, you pay for everything. Well, you know what? If you stayed in your lane and didn't have all this scope creep and billing out for things like, you know, a track on the splost, maybe using a little discernment on what the true needs
Ms.
are.
Rosman, your time has run. Thank you. The next speaker is Mary Clark.
Mary Clark. I live in South Cobb. And where I live is 2 hours, 2 blocks from the closest bus. And not only that, the infrastructure isn't even there to safely walk, even if one wanted to walk 2 miles. There's barely any sidewalks. So that aspect of transit hasn't been properly addressed in my area. I feel like this is so disproportionate because it's not serving all of unincorporated Cobb County or all of Cobb County. I mean, why couldn't they take the different sections of Cobb County and just concentrate on a portion of those sections, the portions that need the service? Because not all of those areas have a problem having the regular transportation. So that's my problem, is that I'm not going to get to benefit from this. I would love to benefit from public transportation, but it's not feasible for me.
And the final speaker of this section is Craig Harfoot.
Good morning. My name's Craig Harfoot. You said that no one talks about too much asphalt. I did talk about that. It's called stormwater impervious surface, and why are we widening the roads with all the sploss? I mean, they're just finishing up striping Lower Roswell Road. There's no bike lanes. They took a lot of property from the former Blockbuster property to put a turn lane in. Could have been managed with just the same paint. Didn't even need to move the curb, didn't need to move the gas line, didn't need to move all the power lines. And now they got turn lanes, and they made the middle wider. The suicide lane now even widened the project. It's, you know, it's nothing that they showed us they were going to do in the beginning. It's all different. But anyhow, I would say that you talk about people that ride or walk on the sidewalks or ride the bikes. The thing is, how many people actually use this stuff? And on my street, people come and park in an empty shopping center parking lot, get on their bikes and ride down to the river. And, you know, they're not from our neighborhood. They're not from anywhere. They're just coming over there to ride that hill down and back. But the whole thing is, people do use the sidewalk, but the sidewalks are really uneven. And behind Forest Brook, it's not Forest Brook, it's, I'll think of it in a minute. New Bedford. There's 3 drains in a row, and they're all off by an inch. People can trip and fall. I did a video, it's still up. It's called A Better Path, Cobb County on YouTube. You can look it up, it's still there. They fixed some of them, but not all. And I would love to know if this pilot project on this microtransit, if they were campaign donors to any of you guys' campaigns. I think that's the biggest thing on transparency. You should say, yeah, this guy donated to me for this, and this guy donated to me for that. I mean, generally, the road builders will donate all of you. And heck, they run the SPLOS. That's what's really wrong. It would be an antitrust thing, except suddenly it becomes, they can be embedded in our thing. And ever since they embedded the road contractors in DOT, every SPLOS is won. I wonder why. You know, and it's all wrong. And I hope you do something to be better about it, because the economy is really
Mr.
close to
Harfoot,
crashing.
Your time
Really
has run.
close.
Thank you. There are no more speakers at this time.
Thank you, and bear with me, board. I do not have my glasses today. I'm doing my best. Yeah. I had not go. Okay. Commissioners, we have had a very minor change to one of the matters on our consent agenda that we're getting ready to approve. It was agenda item number 17. I believe one of the program codes was, there was just a digit off on that, so that was updated. And that is for, again, item 17. That's the only change that I'm aware of, unless anybody else wants to bring anything else to my attention. Good, okay. So with that, Commissioners, I move that we approve the items on our consent agenda as it has been revised, and to authorize execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All right, call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you. That now takes us to the regular portion of this meeting, and we'll first hear from our Department of Transportation.
Morning again, Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. The department has 3 items for your consideration on the regular tab this morning. Our first item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Advanced Sports Construction LLC in an amount not to exceed $348,022.40 for drainage system repairs on Addy Lane at 7 Springs Circle, project number B22197. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Our next item is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve a consultant services agreement with HDR Engineering Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $980,040 for preliminary engineering design of South Cobb Transit Center, project number B2452, authorize a corresponding budget transaction, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. And our final item this morning is to recommend the Board of Commissioners approve supplemental agreement number 1 to amendment work authorization 3 to the program management agreement with Atkins Realis Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $592,750 for additional professional services to provide a City of Mapleton liaison engineer, authorize the corresponding budget transactions, and further authorize the chairwoman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Sheffield.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the question.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Did you have a comment?
This is covered under their SPLOST.
This is covered under the monthly payment that we've been receiving from the city for transportation services.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Call the question. The motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. That now takes us to public services, and we'll hear from elections.
Good morning, board members.
Good morning, Director. I know we had a lot of discussion with respect to this yesterday.
Yes.
And I'll just share that really this item is in your court.
Okay.
So you let us know how you would like to proceed. We certainly have the opportunity to pull this item or move forward with it. It's just based on what you desire.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm here today on behalf of the Board of Elections and Registration to request consideration and approval for the establishment of a Deputy Elections Director within the Elections Department. The Deputy Elections Director would provide operational leadership, enhance continuity, support employee development, and serve as acting director as necessary. I respectfully request that the board authorize the establishment of a Deputy Election Director position and direct staff to work through the appropriate county processes to develop the position description, classification, and implementation plan. Thank you.
All right. So moved.
Second.
And I know there's some discussion too. Okay. We are preparing for upcoming general election.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been discussion with respect to timing. Know that there's a lot taking place.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I just want you to help us in understanding what that looks like for you. Again, this is to support you, not to necessarily propel you to move faster than what's helpful for your workshop. But I would like for you to help us understand the timing of how
Right.
things might move. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So moving forward, we know we have the November general election coming up. So we're going to be really busy with that election. We're actually already preparing for that election. We also know that due to state legislation, the laws will be changing. We don't know if we're going to be using paper ballots, but come January 1st, 2027, we don't know what type of election equipment that we're going to be using. So all of that is still up in the air. So right now, I believe, and my board believes as well, that it would be best beneficial for us to move forward with a deputy director position.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Yes. Commissioner Sheffield and Burrow.
Thank you, Lee, for the
You're welcome.
presentation, and thank you for the conversation with respect to your needs. Where I'm challenged is just about 25 hours ago at our work session, it was communicated that although there is or will possibly be a need for a deputy director, the desire was to kind of hold off until you can determine within your organization because you also shared that you have supervisors, et cetera, within your organization that may be able to fill the gaps. There was also concern with training up a deputy director and some other things that you outlined. I'm just trying to figure out between then and now what might have occurred. You have been consistent with sharing what your plan is in terms of moving forward, and I understand that we have upcoming elections, et cetera. I am supportive of you moving forward in this direction, as you and I previously discussed, but I'm not supportive of moving forward today with this. At the meeting yesterday, you communicated that January would be a reasonable timeline for you to get started. So I am supportive of this if it's brought back in December for you to begin your plan in January.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Commissioner Burrow, yes, go ahead.
I just want to make sure she's. Hi, Lee.
Hello.
Unfortunately, I hadn't had the pleasure of meeting you and talking to you up until yesterday at the agenda work session.
Yes, ma'am.
And I had some other issues with a friend that we shared of letters that they've been receiving from an outside source that you're going to look into.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's when I got to talk to you too about this agenda item. So I do feel it's in the best interest to wait, just because of your comments saying that you need more time. And you are under a lot of pressure with the midterm elections coming up in November. And I think you were wise to say you needed more time to evaluate your staff. You may need supervisors or entry level, clerical. I don't know. We don't know. You're the only one that can really determine that. So I'm not opposed to getting you more help.
Right, thank you.
Whether that's in the form of a different position or a deputy director. But I just think that this is not the time to put you under that pressure when you don't see the need, you're still evaluating your staff. So I do support elections and your needs. I just don't think we need to approve a deputy director at this time. It came to us from the previous director. So I think we need to listen to you and know what you are asking for. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? As I shared yesterday, again, this ball is in your court. You are in a tough position. You're not only here before us as a board, you have an elections board that you report to. They have fully expressed their support for this, which puts us in a very difficult position. They have been here for iterations of elections. I know from their purview, they see the strength of adding this because of things that have happened. We also saw the strength of bringing you to the county for your perspective and your history. We're not only trusting you, we're supporting you. And we want to see you successful, and your success means our county's success. So again, the ball is in your court with what you fully would like to do with this item. We can pull it for today. If there's a motion, we could still withdraw the motion if you would like for us to withdraw the motion, or we can move forward and vote on the matter. So it's up to you. We just need to hear directly from you. We heard from you yesterday. We hear from you today.
Right. So,
we need to know
I
how
do
you
want
would like to proceed.
I'm sorry, I would like to provide some clarity. So I have been in the position for 106 days. So we all know that's really not enough time for me to make a rational and logical decision about a department the size of 170 employees. So due to that, I rely on my board. They are the ones who have been through several directors. They have been on the board for several years. So after communicating with them recently, as early as yesterday, it has come to my conclusion that maybe this is in the best interest of the department to move forward.
Okay, that's what we'll do. And again, I'm not here to get in between you and your board.
Right.
And I think that's respectful. Commissioner Gamble, I know we have a motion, a second. We're still, have not called the question or withdrawn it. Please go ahead.
Director, and this is nothing towards you. I know you have been put in a very difficult situation. And this is often where boards overstep their boundaries. And I think this is a prime example of that situation. You were hired to run elections. As you said, you've now been here 106 days. Thank you for hanging in there. Right? Because you came in fighting and running. But where I'm struggling with this agenda item and with the information you just provided, we hired you, not maybe this board, because we don't have the authority to hire the director, but another board hired you to do a job. And where I'm having a big conflict is now that board is trying to dictate to you how to do your job, the job that you have the expertise in that you were hired to do. That is where I'm having a problem as this conversation continues to unfold. Even this board, yes, we tend to get into the weeds sometimes, but if you look at our purpose is to expend taxpayer dollars and set policy. We are not supposed to be running this county. Yes, we all get into the details, right? Sometimes that's just to get a better understanding. Other times I don't know why. But the county is to be run by the county manager, the directors, and the staff. So when you originally read your agenda item, this wasn't your request. You said it was the request of the Board of Elections. Again, the Board of Elections only has the authority to hire you. You are the one that then runs the department. So until you come to me confidently and say, this is what I need to run my department, and we're not hearing more from a board that is not elected, yes, they serve a vital point and purpose in this role, but I want to hear it directly from you and not them.
Thank you, Commissioner Gamble. Are there any other comments? We'll go ahead and we'll keep the motion as is.
Okay.
So I'll call the question. The motion fails 3-2 with Commissioner Allen and Chairwoman Cupid in opposition. Excuse me, in support, I'm sorry. The motion fails with Commissioner Cupid and Commissioner Allen in support, Commissioner Sheffield, Burrell, and Gamble in opposition. Again, we recognize the very difficult position that you're in. We are here to support. There generally is not anything elections brings to us that we do not support, because we understand the complexity with elections. As a chair, I respect also that there's another governing authority, and I'm hoping that we can all be on the same page.
Yes. Okay.
Again, your success is our success.
Thank you.
Yes, Commissioner Allen
Yes,
has
sir.
a question for you.
I have a parliamentary inquiry for the attorney. If, with this failure, and I'm thinking about House rules, so it may be totally different, can we ask for reconsideration with a date certain, or will it just have to be brought back at a date certain as a new agenda item?
It will need to be brought back as a new agenda item.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are now at the support services portion of this meeting, and we'll hear from our ITS Director, Kimberly Lemley.
Good morning, Chairwoman, Commissioners, and County Manager. Our item this morning is a joint item with Probate Court requesting your approval of a contract with DataBank IMX LLC for digitization of historical microfilm and aperture card records in an amount not to exceed $89,305.34, which includes a 20% contingency fund under provisions of a Texas DIR contract. 2022 SPLOS Project B0010. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairwoman and the procurement services director to execute the necessary documents and any subsequent amendments such as renewals, price changes, etc.
Second.
Call the question. The motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Kimberly. That now takes us to our second public comment. Okay, we don't have any speakers. That now takes us to the Commissioner's public address, and we'll hear from Commissioner Gambrill once her slides are on the screen.
The Cobb County Police Department is joining Metro Atlanta law enforcement agencies in a regional food drive benefiting the Atlanta Community Food Bank from August 9th through September 1st. Donation boxes are available at police headquarters in each precinct. Requested items include canned fruits and vegetables, canned meats, beans, soups, pasta, rice, cereal, shelf-stable milk, and juice boxes. Every donation helps provide nutritious food to local families facing food insecurity and strengthens our community. For more information, you can contact Mary Lee Johnson at the Atlanta Community Food Bank at 678-365-4276. And lastly, mark your calendars for upcoming town halls. Both will begin at 6:30 p.m. The first one will be Tuesday, September 8th at Cedar Crest Church at 4600 Cobb Parkway Northwest in Ackworth. The second one will be Thursday, September 10th at the West Cobb Senior Center, 4915 Dallas Highway in Powder Springs. Both town halls will focus primarily on zoning and the comprehensive plan.
Excuse me, Mr. Hartford, we can hear you up here. Just give some respect to our commissioner. Thank you.
Residents are encouraged to attend and learn more about these important issues affecting the community and also to ask whatever questions they so choose. Thank you.
Commissioner Allen.
Thank you, Chair. I don't have any slides today, but just want to thank all of the staff that came out to support me in the town hall last Thursday. I also want to thank the community for coming out. We know there was some competing interest that evening, but we did have a really good turnout and a great dialogue. Also, to all of our students, teachers, and administrators, welcome back. Hope you're having a good start to the school year and a very successful one.
Thank you. Commissioner Burrow.
On a very, very sad note, I come to you, a lot of y'all remember in May, we honored Charlie Duncan, World War II, longest Georgia veteran alive at 107. Well, Charlie passed away on July 31st, and I got to know Charlie a few years ago when we started his 100th birthday and actually got up to 107 this past May. He was very active at the Mountain View Aquatic Center with water aerobics. Up until a couple years ago, he still drove and lived alone. He was a remarkable man. And I know y'all remember when he came last May to celebrate, and I'm so glad that we had a little birthday cake and reception for him. So may he rest in peace.
Amen. Thank you.
On another sad note, I know most of y'all have heard too about the soldier that was killed in the Iran war in Jordan. His grandmother lives in District 3, and his visitation was last week and funeral last Friday. So it's with a heavy heart. He was only 25 years old. So, and he He paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. So condolences to his family as well, and may he rest in peace.
If you don't mind, Commissioner, we can take a brief moment of silence before you
Sure.
continue. Yeah.
That would be good.
All right, thank you. Take a brief moment of silence and observance. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So on a happy note, a few years ago, I started a program with the sponsorship of Superior Plumbing for free pet adoptions from the Cobb County Animal Shelter for veterans. So we had 2 last week, so our total now is, we're up to 271 adoptions, dogs and cats, from the Cobb County Animal Shelter. On the left here, I'm not sure if it's left or right with you, but Mr. Flanagan had 6 years of service as a Marine, and he adopted a Bull Mastiff mix, number 270. And then on the right, Miss Giesel, U.S. Air Force veteran with 4 years of service, adopted this beautiful pup. That was actually at National Night Out. She got hers. So that was number 271. So I want to thank the staff at Cobb County Animal Shelter, Steve Hammond, the director, and all the staff that offer this service for our veterans, and also to Superior Plumbing, Jay Cunningham, for his support and sponsorship. And then
go ahead, Commissioner.
Last but not least, last week we all celebrated Cobb County Commissioners Day at Dobbins Air Force Base. Thanks to the Cobb Chamber and Lockheed. We got a great tour of Lockheed and Dobbins. And you can see us in the F-130s. So it was a great trip, a great tour. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll now hear from Commissioner Sheffield.
Thank you, Chair. District 4 news and updates. The City of Powder Springs invite residents to attend a public meeting to determine whether 3 at-grade railroad crossings along Powder Springs-Dallas Road corridor should be closed or consolidated. The crossings at Angum Road, Finch Road, and Huddleston Drive are being evaluated for potential changes that can improve safety for drivers and pedestrians and support more efficient freight rail movement through the region. The meeting will be held tonight, August 11th, from 5 to 7:30 at Powder Springs City Hall, located at 4483 Pineview Drive in Powder Springs. Residents are encouraged to attend the East-West Connector Corridor Improvement Study Public Information Open House. Come learn about the proposed improvements, ask questions, and share your feedback. The meeting will be held on Thursday, August 20th from 5 to 7 p.m. at Connection Point Church of God Fellowship Hall located at 888 East-West Connector in Mableton. Please enter the parking lot via Hicks Road. And finally, the annual Taste of Mableton event is set to return on Saturday, August 29th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Mabel House Complex located at 5239 Floyd Road in Mableton. The celebration kicks off with a lively parade featuring local marching bands and cultural performances, followed by live music, food vendors, a kids zone, and a vibrant marketplace of local artisans. Hosted by the Mableton Improvement Coalition, this is one of Mableton's favorite traditions, and you don't want to miss it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Sheffield, and thank all of you for being here today and tuning in. Just a few announcements. We have our annual International Festival coming up on the 27th from 11 a.m., on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., and that will be at Jim Miller Park. It's one of our largest events here in the county that showcases our diversity, and it's just a lot of fun. We hope that you can attend. It is free to the public. Also want to announce that Cobb County Police will be holding a series of town hall meetings to address flock, and those meeting dates will be coming out soon from our department. I believe the first meeting will be on August 27th. And lastly, as we return back to school, we hope everyone has an enjoyable year, a safe year, and we look forward to working with our school system as we move forward with mediation, and just want to thank everyone here with their patience as we move through that challenging issue, but we look forward to us coming together and keeping our county moving forward for everyone. With that, Commissioner Burrow, thank you for those observations that you made here. That was very thoughtful of you. Just lets you know how important it is to be mindful of life, as none of us are promised tomorrow. With that, again, I hope everyone has a good rest of the day. We look forward to seeing you at our next Cobb County Board of Commissioners meeting.